I didn't think it was possible, but somehow DNA from 1996 ripped off 3 movies in one: Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park, and Predator. How? Let's find out. First, we meet Ash Ketchum. No, I'm just kidding. It's Ash Matley, a hard-working doctor in a small village who treats everyone, no matter what. But supplies are running low, and there's just little that he can do. That is, unless he can somehow get the funding that he needs. And that's where Carl Wessinger comes into play into the story. His company has donated tons of money to Ash's hospital, so I guess that alone gets Wessinger a meeting with the rundown doctor. Here we learn that Ash has been working hard on a miracle cure, something that would literally end all diseases in the world. But he couldn't stabilize the formula. Wessinger believes that he has figured out a way to do just that. The math adds up, and it should be possible, but they're going to need a rare beetle in order to do it, something that only Ash knows the location of. So they head out with a small team in search for this life-saving beetle. This is the Indiana Jones part, with all the old wall carvings, danger around every corner, and an ancient demonic statue, which just happens to be where the beetles live, of course. Once they have a few of the bugs, Wessinger decides now's the time to kill everyone. Yeah, if you didn't see it coming from a mile away, he's the bad guy, and he wants the beetles for an ulterior motive. Well, Ash gets shot in the shoulder, and Wessinger manages to get away. And the movie picks back up 2 years later. Once again, Ash is hard at work, albeit now with longer hair, so you know it's been 2 years since that part in the beginning. What, do they not have scissors in this town? Anyway, we also meet Claire Summers, an agent from the CIA, but a little bit more on her in a little bit. For now, Ash has a new patient, and I don't think that they're gonna be able to do anything for her. She looks pretty bad. She's been torn to shreds by something the locals call Balakai. Her brother, Matsu, brought her in, and he kind of serves as the short round / guide for the rest of the movie. So anyway, Claire comes in to take a look, and we learn that she was sent here to try to find Wessinger. Apparently, he used the whole cave-in incident as a cover-up for his own death, but really, he just kept on doing his research. Somehow funded by the CIA. Does that make any sense to you? Yeah, me neither. Anyway, she knows he's alive, and she's gonna need Ash's help to try to find him. Now, we move on to the Jurassic Park ripoff, with a research facility that's working with DNA and experimenting with it. They even have a Samuel Jackson-like character that works on a computer and has a cigarette coming out of his mouth all the time, just like Ray Arnold.
Hold on to your butts.
You're not going to believe what happens here. Go ahead, just take a wild guess. What do you think's going to happen? There's a big storm, the power goes out, and their experiment gets free.
Boy, no, I hate being right all the time.
My goodness, how did this movie not get sued? Anyway, back to our heroes, and we see that Claire has come packing.
Be prepared's my company's motto.
Who's she work for? The Boy Scouts? They meet with the leader of Matsu's tribe, and he basically tells them that an ancient evil has returned and that it's up to them to try to stop it. He draws a map, and the kid knows somehow by looking at the map where to take him. As they leave, Claire spills the beans about what she knows now. Wessinger found some ancient creature's remains in the jungle. He's experimented with it and was able to reanimate it, which is what I assume he needed that beetle for in the beginning. It was never intended to save lives, but to take them out, and to be used as the ultimate weapon. In the middle of the night, for some odd reason, the locals decide to attack the group, who now have to fight for their lives. As you would expect, after a back and forth, our heroes win, but now They have to leave the village pronto and head right towards the research facility Wessinger's rumored to be working at. When they get there, they're able to easily get in. I guess there's no security here. They take a look around and see that the place is abandoned, but only very recently, and something was able to shear through solid steel to get in. They manage to hack into the computer and they learn a little bit more about what they're up against. So, yes, Wessinger was doing experiments on an ancient creature, but it wasn't of this Earth. That's right, Wessinger cloned an alien, and now it's loose somewhere in the facility. While they're doing that, Matsu's off farting around doing God knows what when he's attacked by one of the villagers from the night before. Hey, that's okay, the Balakai takes him out. Matsu runs for his life and he manages to get away, but now he's stuck down here, alone with the Balakai. Elsewhere, Ash and Claire have their own problems to deal with, because after chowing down on the villager, the monster still wants more. Unable to find Matsu, it comes over to the others. They run for a door, but they can't get it open. It looks like it's all over. But just in the nick of time, the door opens and they make it to safety. Who saved them? Well, it's Wessinger and his team. Understandably so, Ash gives him a piece of his mind. I mean, Wessinger did shoot him in the shoulder, so he has a right to lay him out. Here, they all regroup for a minute and get a chance to breathe and catch up. We learn that the facility is running out of backup power, and once that goes out, the fences will shut down and the creature will make an easy escape. On top of that, Claire has to call her boss and report in that everything's okay. Otherwise, the CIA will send a team to bomb the facility, killing everything. Oh, and yeah, Matsu's still lost out there somewhere. So they split up. A group looks for him, and then another group works on the backup generator, which doesn't work out so well. This guy Hatton is killed, but Wessinger makes it. The others find Matsu and lead him to an exit from the sewers. But the gate is locked. The only way to open it is to hack the mainframe. They throw out a bunch of 90s computer terms that sound smart and have some fancy graphics that almost mirror what Lex does in Jurassic Park.
All the files of the whole park. It tells you everything.
But they eventually unlock the door just in time for Matsu to escape. But they can't get it closed in time, and the Balakai jumps out. Thinking quickly, Claire uses the flash on her camera, which scares it, and it runs away. Finally, the cavalry comes in, but they're not sent from Claire, from Wessinger. These guys are here to pick up everything important and destroy the rest, erasing a paper trail. The first ones they get are Ash and Claire, who are locked up and thrown into a drainage ditch. Why? Why not just shoot them now and be done with it? Instead, they let them live so that they can inevitably escape later on. What they do to Lauren makes just a little bit more sense. They shoot him, then cage him up to feed him to the monster later on. While they get everything ready, the team sets up a bomb that will blow up the entire facility. There's a countdown, of course, but they also have a remote detonator that Matsu quietly steals. Well, surprise, surprise, Ash and Claire escape, and they go to help Lauren out. Here's a quick funny part where Claire accidentally lowers the cage as the monster attacks. Oops, wrong button there. Well, they all make it out and a firefight ensues. Matsu regroups with everyone and hands over the detonator, which Lauren uses to buy them all some time. His plan works too, and the whole place explodes in quite a spectacular sight to see. Kudos to the pyrotechnic department on this one. After the place is properly blown to smithereens, it seems like there's only a few survivors, one of which is the alien who escaped into the jungle. So that's great. Ash and the team load up on a boat and get chased by a helicopter who has the guy with the world's worst aim on board. Seriously, he misses the boat with every shot. Eventually, they make it to land, and Ash knows that they aren't alone. Get ready, it's now time for the ripoff of Predator. The first thing it steals is the Predator's cloaking power. After an admittingly intense scene, the Balakai hears the helicopter off in the distance and chases after that, which Ash soon takes out. So we don't have to worry about them anymore. I guess that's good. Matsu knows he has to warn his people about the impending threat of the alien, so they head to his village. But they don't make it too far, and the Balakai takes one swat at Matsu and actually kills him. He's DEAD dead. The others escape and take his body back to the village. They find one of the beetles on him and use that to make a poison that will slow down the creature. All this while Ash prepares for his fight, but he's no Arnold.
You one ugly motherfucker.
Soon after that, the monster attacks and the hunt is on. The two chase each other and run around in the jungle for a while until Ash jumps into the river. He swims to the other side, with the Balakai quickly catching up. The locals throw spears at him, like that will do anything, and Ash throws an axe laced with the poison. But yeah, it doesn't seem to do anything either. Claire throws a gun to Ash, and in an over-the-top scene, he jumps, spins, and fires, blowing up the alien and stopping it for good. And that was DNA. If you've never seen any of the 3 movies it rips off, you might actually think, hey, there's some good stuff here. The explosions were fantastic, the acting was passable, and the story would be original. But that's only if you haven't seen Predator, Jurassic Park, or Indiana Jones. And I mean, who hasn't seen all of those movies? I really do wonder how they didn't get sued. Actually, the ending was supposed to have Ash fighting a giant goat. That would have been interesting. But they thought it was too reminiscent of an Agatha Christie novel, and not wanting to get sued, they dropped that idea. Also, I guess they originally had the KFC secret spices written on a chalkboard that Ash was using for his miracle cure, but they had to use CGI to remove them so they wouldn't get sued. But all the rest was fine? I mean, I didn't think you could rip off Jurassic Park more. Also, speaking of that chalkboard scene, creating that miracle drug was Ash's life mission. He said he couldn't figure out how to stabilize it, but then Wessinger comes in, figures it all out, and Ash sees how it could work, written right there on the chalkboard. I know Wessinger was a bad guy, but the look on Ash's face meant that he had figured it out. The cure for every disease ever. But then they never bring it up again. So I guess Ash just scrapped that idea. I know you're not supposed to think that hard into it, and this type of movie is where you just kind of turn your brain off and watch it, but still it bothers me. I'm also on the fence about the suit. Sure, it looks like a Power Rangers villain, but I honestly expected bad CGI the whole time, and although they used CGI, it wasn't that much, so the suit didn't bother me too much. Although in the end, I guess it did look pretty goofy. DNA is a hard one for me to recommend, unless you're in it for the explosions. Then sure, it's got a lot of that. I give it 1.5 Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park, and Predators all fused together out of 4.